So it's really early. Like I think it's the earliest stream we've made so far during like Sunday, and Gary is sleeping in his spot, as you can see. You can only see his little leg up. Poor Gary. Poor little Gary. Poor little Gary is really asleep right now. It's really early for him. I'm eating noodles. Can Gary have some? Gary can't really eat noodles, but he can eat worms, which is kind of like noodles. Hello. Hi, Joseph Kun. Oh, you get a girl axolotl named Willow in 7 days. I hope you have her tank all ready and cycled for her. Gary is really sleeping right now. I don't know why he have his little leg up, but it's just how Gary sleeps. Ah, Gary's moving. Hello, Gary. Good morning. Good morning, Gary. How are you doing, Gary? Do you want to sleep some more? Or do you want to say hi? Want to go out and say hi? Poor Gary doesn't know what to do right now. Gary is asleep right now. It's really early for him. Gary is doing good. He's just sleepy. He's like, leave me alone. Let me rest. Oh. Here it's 6 p.m. in the UK. 12 p.m. in India. So a lot of you are from the UK, isn't it? "11 a.m. Where are you from?" Hello, Gary. Oh, oh no, still sleepy? Are you still sleepy, Gary? Oh, hello, Gary. How are you doing? Oh, his sleepy face. No, he doesn't want to go out. Gary, it's too early for him. Gary, is it too early? So Gary, when he's asleep, he will always look more pale than when he's awake because of the blood flow. It's the blood flow that gives him his color. So it's okay if your axolotl looks more pale when they are sleeping. Gary is not camera shy, he's just sleepy. I am in pain. Why are you in pain? Is Gary an exotic pet? Yes, he is. Do you know Slenderman? Yes, I do, and it spooked me. I watched friends play this game and it was so scary for me. No. Maybe Gary is a therapist. Will Gary have a friend in the future? Yes, he will. Most likely a brother. How did you get Gary? In a pet shop. Oh, it's okay, Orange Crewmates. Don't worry. Thank you for joining us. Even if it's not for too long. I'm getting snails soon. I'm naming them Slugma and Macargo. I like Slugma. Hello, Gary. Do you still want to sleep? Oh, poor Gary. Will you be live next Sunday? Yes, we are live every Sunday. Does Gary floats around for fun? He doesn't do that much. He walk more than he floats.
Yeah.
What is Gary's favorite food? I think Gary really likes his pellets. And for snacks, I guess it would be bloodworms. Is Gary exotic? He is considered an exotic pet. Gary's birthday is the 11th of July. Hello, Gary. Good morning. Oh no, okay. Good night. He really doesn't want to go out. Are you gonna go out to say hi, Gary? No? Come on, Gary. Come on. Go out to say hi. Gary. Going out, Gary? Going out? Going out, Gary? Good morning, Gary. He doesn't know. He doesn't know if he wants to go out or not. Can they change color? No, they don't change color, but they are born with different colors. Are you awake, Gary? Or do you want to sleep more? You want to sleep more or do you want to stay with us? Hello, Gary. Hello. Good morning, Gary. Are you awake now? Oh, I'm gonna put the camera a little back now that Gary is actually showing interest. Good morning, Gary. Look at his cute face. Look at the cute face. Is Gary going to grow? No, Gary have his adult size now, so he's not gonna grow more than this. Is Gary gonna eat on live? No, Gary ate yesterday. So we can't feed him every day. Does he sleep most of the day? Yes, he does. He's only active during nighttime. What does he eat for breakfast? So he actually like his pellets right now. He doesn't like his worms anymore. Like, we tried to give him worms, but he didn't like them, so we stopped giving him worms, and he's only on pellets. But he likes his pellets more than his worms, so it's fine. Isn't he, Gary? Isn't he, Gary? You like your pellets way more than the worms. Up. A bit higher. Very good. This thing actually fell. I had to put it back up. Do not eat it, Gary, okay? This is not food, okay? Yeah? You're waking up. Are you waking up, Gary? Are you waking up, my baby? He's so fluffy today. I'm gonna put the camera closer so you can see Gary's fluff. Gary is fluffy. No! Are you interested? Are you interested, Gary? Are you fluffy? Are you fluffy, Gary? He's so cute. He's waking up, so I don't think he's gonna move much. When is Gary gonna move? When he wants to. I'm not gonna force Gary to move. Oh. Oh. Did you bonk on the glass, Gary? You bonked. Oh, you bonked, Gary. Oh, careful. Careful, Gary. Gary is sleepy. Oh, thank you, Danny mate. Yes, we can see your comment, Blue the Fox. Gary, where are you going? Oh, he's going in his jungle. Here we go. Gary and his jungle. He loves his jungle. I'm gonna try to put this a bit up so you can see more of his little face. Gary is amazing. Oh, thank you, Squeak. Thank you so much. Squeak says Gary is amazing, which is true. He's an amphibian. He's not a reptile. Oh, he's back in his pot. Back in the pot, Gary. Okay, so Gary. Poor Gary is really sleepy. I don't think Gary is ready for live today. Like we used to do live like later, but you chose 6 p.m. so what colors can axolotls be? So they have plenty of colors. So Gary is pink. You can have like some kind of copper, which is brown. You have the wild, which is dark brown, almost black. Melanoid is like really one color, like full black or full yellow if they are golden. You have albino axolotls who are kind of like Gary but have pink eyes. What else do you have? I said copper, I said white. What else? More from axolotls.
There's tons, but I don't know the names.
Yeah, there is a lot of different colors and sometimes they are even mixed. Oh, hello Gary. Hello. Welcome back. Are you resting? Going in and out your pot? Yeah, going in and out your pot, Gary. Soon he will be in Minecraft. Yes, but we still don't know like when exactly. Gary the ferocious dragon. Does he really look ferocious? Does Gary give kisses? Gary gives boops. Are you going back in your pot, Gary? No, you're backing up? What are you doing? I don't know what Gary does. What are you doing, Gary? I like that he's always doing his own thing. Oh, thank you for subscribing. Matthew's gameplays. Bye, Taylor Thomas Filler. Thank you for joining us today. Even though Gary didn't do much. Am I late? You're not. You're not. We are 20 minutes in the live, but Gary is really sleepy, so he isn't doing much. Why Axolotl is so cute? I don't know. It's just how they are, I guess. Gary's tank looks cool today. It's like the other side of the tank. Yeah, you usually see the right side, but here is the left side. Sometimes Gary changes. Are axolotls hard to take care of, and what did you have to change to your lifestyle getting him? So they are kind of hard to care for, especially if you never had any aquatic pets. So for us, we never really had aquatic pets, so we had to learn everything. And axolotls being like, how did you say, like an exotic pet, it requires a lot of attention and specific settings. So you have to be really careful of everything you are doing, because the water needs to be at certain temperature, it needs to be clean all the time, it needs to be cycled, not too much light, a lot of live plants, because some Gary had a little yawn that you couldn't see. Sometimes fake plants can hurt your axolotls, so you have to be careful of that. You can't have any decoration with sharp edges, you have to sand down everything. There is a lot of things to pay attention to. Gary, what type of axolotl is Gary? Gary is a bluegill axolotls, a bluegill leucistic axolotl. You have normal leucistic, which isn't Gary, because Gary have blue parts in his gill, so that's why we call him bluegill axolotl. Would you ever consider having a second axolotl with Gary? Yes. Maybe having a brother for Gary would be good, because the tank is big enough to have 2 axolotls in there. So can you give me Gary? No, I can't. I can't give you Gary. Is Gary an adult? Yes, he is. Gary already have his adult size. Can axolotl recognize colors? I know that they do not have the best eyesight, so I have no idea if they recognize colors, but yes, they do have a bad eyesight. Poor Gary is so sleepy. Gary, are you gonna stay in your pot? Oh, hello. Welcome back, Gary. Welcome back. Why? I don't know why YouTube is doing this. Because it's YouTube doing this. It's not Stream Elements or any of the admins. So I don't know why YouTube is timing out people randomly. How long have you had Gary for? So it's been 2 years, more than 2 years now. 2 years and 4 months. 2 years and 4 months. So Gary is still young. He is still young. Isn't he, Gary? Yeah. Are you finally awake? Or are you gonna go in your pot again? Poor Gary. It's way too early for him. It's too early for you, Gary, isn't it? Yes. How old is Gary in Axolotl years? I don't know, but I think Gary would be as like his teenage age right now. Oh, can't see Gary like this. Oh, Gary. Gary looks like a lone boy. Okay, I'm gonna put it a bit more far so it's better. Is it better like that? It's better. Gary is looking at reflection, Gary. Yes. Hello, Gary. Hello. How are you doing? Are you awake? Are you awake, Gary, or do you want to sleep more? Sleep more? I think Gary doesn't even know what to do. How long is an axolotl lifespan? It's around 15 years. So that's why I said that Gary is still young. So the pH adder is like if your pH is changing, but it never works. I don't even know why I still have this. But this one doesn't work. Like the two I have, even the ammonia one, it kind of worked, but we don't really have ammonia, so never really did anything. Can I pet Gary through the screen? I think yes, maybe. Gary, maybe. Hello. How are you doing? How are you doing, Gary? You doing good? You doing good, Gary? You doing good with me? You doing good? Leanne Chalmers. How are you doing? Is Gary pink? Yes, he is. Kind of. But like, we have yellow light, so that's why he looks yellow. Yeah, the light we have in the, like, around Gary's tank are yellow, so that's why it's really yellowish. Tell me, this is for scientific research. Why is Gary so cute? I don't know if I can have like a scientific answer to this, but I think it's because of his black eyes and his cute round face makes it cute. I don't know, and the little feathers around his head makes him cute. I don't know. Oh, welcome back, Chameleon Gaming. What things do you need to get an axolotl? So, if like you speak about the tank setup and everything, you actually need a big tank with a lot of floor space. So Gary is in a 200 liters, which is 50 gallon at the moment, and he have like, it's 120 centimeters long and 45 large, so it's really big for him. This tank alone could host 2 axolotls, but Gary is alone in there. And you will need a good filter that can process double the amount of water you have in your tank. So as our tank is 200 liters, we have a filter that can process 400. So that's why Gary's tank is always really clear. You will have to have a chiller, which is really important because they have to be in specific water temperature, which is between 16 and 18 degrees Celsius. So we always put our chiller to 17 degrees. Isn't it, Gary? So Gary can always be in a really good water for him. It's never too hot or too cold. You will need a bubbler to do some surface, like movement surface. And you will need a substrate, so it's either sand or bare bottom or tiles. You can choose anything apart from pebbles or gravel are not good for axolotls. So the best for me is the sand because they have grips on it, so when Gary walks he's not slippering on the glass or anything. He have like the sand to grip on. What else? So you will need a water test kit because you always have to check if the water is good, and you will have to cycle your tank before having your axolotl, and it takes from 3 to 8 weeks. So the process of cycling your tank is explained in our care blog, so you can see that. The link is in our about section. Like, we have a blog where there is a lot of tips for beginners, so if you're interested, just go and have a look. Oh, okay, Gary, now you're moving. You can kind of see the whole kind of tank of Gary right now.
Yep, that's the most of it.
So it's really good for him to have a lot of floor space to walk. He really likes to walk. It's his thing. He likes to. Is Gary having a staring contest with the bubble? Sometimes Gary does like to put his face in the bubbles to have a face massage. Is it better to get a white axolotl or black? It really depends on your taste, to be honest. There's really no difference at all. Just the color. Oh, thank you, the set seat siding. I think Gary is waking up. Oh, Gary. Oh, okay. Okay, Gary. Fine. Fine, Gary. Yeah. So there is not much we have in Gary's tank, to be honest. We just have like the sand, live plants, a rock, 2 hides, and driftwoods. And that's it. Like, it's really kind of a natural tank. And I think Gary is quite happy with it, so it's all fine. You have a pet Gary in Minecraft. I think a lot of people name their axolotl in Minecraft Gary, which I really like. I find it really cute that you can have your own Gary in Minecraft. What are you doing, Gary? Gary is always staring at me for some reason. You can't see, but he's always staring where I am sitting. Isn't it, Gary? He likes to stare. He really likes it.
I like that one turtle. I like that.
Which turtle? Oh, Gary. Can you feed axolotls warm from the garden, then clean them? No, not really, because worms in your garden, they probably have pesticide because they are everywhere. So it's better to have worms that you can buy in fish shop.
Yeah. For like bait.
Yeah. So
Here
know.
we have a cellar dedicated to worms for food. So there's nothing at all on them, and it sounds weird, but they're raised well, and they're all in clean environments, and they're nice.
Yes. We didn't try them, I swear.
That's
Oh, wait. I'm gonna.
that's better than even a fish shop. Fishing bait.
Yeah, fishing bait is the best if you want to have good food for your axolotl.
So either fishing bait worms, or if you have a dedicated cellar for just worms, go for that, because that'll be better than the bait. And then you can always try doing it yourself.
Yeah, you can have your own wormery. Like, you buy the first batch of worms and then you can just raise them. And if you take really good care of them, they're gonna reproduce and make more worms. But we can't. We are really bad. We are so bad with keeping worms. Yeah, if you used to buy bait worms for your turtles, I think it's the same worms you can buy for your axolotls. Can you pet Gary? I can't today because we already gave Gary food yesterday, so I can't put my hands
You can.
all the time in the. No!
Yeah, just wash your hand.
I don't want to put my hands in the tank every day because we did a water change yesterday, so we feed him at the same time. But I don't want to disturb his tank all the time. And I don't think he's hungry enough. Are you hungry, Gary? I don't know. He doesn't look like he's hungry. More playful, I guess. I pray for my Lord and Savior Gary every night. And you just saw how Gary loses his balance. What does Gary normally eat? So we usually get Gary worms and pellets. We do a mix of the two, but sometimes Gary just go off his worms, so we are just giving him pellets at the moment. Because I don't know if you remember, but like at the last one of the last live we did, we tried to feed Gary worms and he just spit it out, so he just doesn't like his worms anymore. And when that happens, we only feed Gary pellets, and then after a bit of time, we try the worms again, and hopefully he's gonna take the worms again. But we never really know. It depends on Gary's humor, but he's never been really onto the worms much. He likes his pellets more. I don't know why. Like, he doesn't like when the worm wiggle. He doesn't like it, so it's just Gary being really fussy, I guess. Gary doesn't like when the worms wiggle, so we have to blanch the worm so the worm doesn't wiggle. Gary is a bit a diva sometimes. He is a bit of a diva. Can you feed shrimps? Yes, we do have like raw frozen shrimps, and sometimes I just defrost one in a cup with Gary's tank water and just give a bit, just a bit to Gary sometimes.
I'm tempted to give a couple of the shrimp that we have in the other tank. So.
No! Don't give him the cherry shrimp. How much time do you have to spend with Axolotl a day to make them feel secure? So when Gary was a baby, I would spend a lot of time with him. Like, I don't know, but a lot. Every day I would always like go over Gary's tub because he was in a big tub at the time, and I was always talking to Gary, and he would always respond, like always going to me and swimming up for me. It's really cute the way they act with you when they're young. So yeah, I did that every day, and now a bit less. Like, I still go and see him every day, but I'm not playing with him for hours. I'm just leaving him do his thing and just going to the tank and just talking to him. Oh yeah, axolotls are illegal in California. Yeah, I want an axolotl too, but the tank cooler costs so much. I agree. Tank chillers are really expensive. It's you Like the cheapest you can get is, I think it's 250. It's really expensive. Has Gary ever had to regrow a limb? Not a full limb, but a finger. Gary lost a finger once and it grew back to normal a month later. Your axolotl laid eggs. I hope you have a hatchery of baby brine shrimp ready. Because when axolotls lay eggs, it's hundreds and hundreds of them. What is the price of the axolotl? So an axolotl like Gary, a pink one, it's between 10 to 20. It depends on their genetics. So they really don't cost much. It's everything, all the setup around them that cost a lot. Oh, I know. How big is your tank? So our tank is 50 gallon or 200 liters. Can you find a cheap tank cooler? I guess if it's second hand, you can try to find it cheaper, but a new one, it would be really, really hard. There is like, I think nothing below 250. So if you know someone who have one and wants to like give it to you. Oh, wait, we're going to hear it. Oh, thank you for joining. So what you see here, like what Kido have, is when you join our channel. So we had this feature added like last week. So every time you join the channel, now you have this little Gary badge next to your name when you speak in the live. So it makes you pop out more in the stream. So thank you so much for joining. How much was your setup? So our full setup was around 1,000. I'm not gonna lie, Gary doesn't cost much by himself, but the whole tank setup, it cost us 1,000 because the tank was custom made. We have like the stand, substrate, chiller, filter, lights, decoration, the driftwood, live plants, everything is adding up, and in the end it's just really expensive. Why does the light make the axolotl glow? So axolotl that glows are only in the US. We don't have those kind of axolotls in Europe because it's forbidden, because they are genetically modified. So you won't, like, Gary is not glowing. He will never glow. Can they eat live shrimp? So it depends on the shrimp. If it's like little shrimp like ghost shrimp or cherry shrimp, he can, but not real big shrimp that we eat. How comes you're always on timeout, Orange crewmates? Because it's not us doing that, it's YouTube doing that.
Next stream, remove stream elements.
It's not stream elements because it's stream elements would warn us.
But still.
Oh, thank you, Christine Linda, for joining us today. Bye bye. Gary, stop being so cute. I don't think he can. He's just how he is. Gary's just swimming now. Is it hard to clean their tank? It's not hard. It just takes a lot of time. Like the quickest we take to do water change for Gary is an hour. It's the quickest. And if we have to do a deep clean, it can go for 3 to 4 hours. So it requires a lot of time. But it's worth it. Look at Gary. Look at his little cute face. What you want is Gary to be happy. Lucky Gary is moving now, not like at the beginning of the stream. Do axolotl like to be handled? No, not really. Like, do not handle your axolotl because they have a really fragile slime coat. What I do is always offering my hand, and if Gary wants to, he's gonna climb on it, but it's not all the time, and it's only if he wants it. I never like grab him or force him on my hand or anything. It's just everything is down to him. Wait.
Okay, at that time it was timed out.
How often can you touch him? So we don't really touch Gary often. We only boop his little nose because like I just put my finger like above his head and he's the one who is going at it, like putting his nose on my finger. So this is how I know that he wants me to interact with him. It's not the contrary. It's not me putting my finger on his head. It's I always wait for Gary to do the first move to do anything with him. But we don't do that often, even though you see a lot of it because it's when we record it. But in a daily basis, we don't do that at all. Like it's like maybe twice a month. Can you have a cat with axolotls? So this is really tricky because I saw a lot of axolotls getting hurt by cats. So if you want an axolotl with cats, you have to separate the cats from the axolotl. You have to have a room dedicated to your axolotls and not let your cat go in this room at all. And you have to be extra careful if you have your axolotl tub because your cat is most likely gonna go for your axolotl and try to eat it. So it's not really a good combo to have the two. But if you can separate everything, I guess it would be fine, but you have to really be careful. So, do axolotls constantly need attention or are they okay with being alone for long periods such as a day? So a day would be fine for your axolotl to be alone, but they do kind of need care. Like if you plan on going on holidays, you cannot really go on long holidays. Like I am stopping you right now. If you have an axolotl, you can like say bye bye to your holidays. Because you can't let like you it's not like fish where you can leave them with an automatic feeder. We can't do that with axolotls because you don't know if your axolotl is going to eat everything or not. And if they don't, what's going to happen is that the food that fell in the water is going to rotten and it's going to do an ammonia spike and it's gonna be really bad for your axolotl, and he's probably gonna die. So that's why you can't really go on holidays for too long, or your poor axolotl will suffer. What is that pH alert thingy? So it's, don't buy this because it doesn't work. I just have this because like I tried at the beginning and I just let it there, but it doesn't really work. It it's like a little device that changes color when or if your pH is changing, but our pH is always the same, so we don't really need that. What do you use to edit your videos? So I have two things. It's iMovie or InShot. Gary, are you going back to your cave? Are you done? Thank you for joining us today, Lian. We'll see you next time. You can't even go on holidays because of COVID. Yes, that is true. I think Gary is happy that we are always with him every day. Gary's goodness has taken my time. Do axolotls hide during the day? Yes, they can. Like Gary does sometimes, but there is also times where Gary just sleep out of his house, just in his tank, like out. It depends. Are you tired, Gary? Are you tired? You moved everywhere and are you tired? Not doing much. What is happening? What is happening, Gary? Why are you searching? I don't know what Gary is doing. What are you doing, Gary? I think he's just chilling. How did you come up with the name Gary? It's actually Gary's dad who gave him the name Gary. When we went out of the pet shop, he just said he looks like a Gary, so we just named him Gary. As simple as that. Gary. What are you doing, Gary? What are you doing? Gary's looking at his reflection. He doesn't right now. He's just having his nose a bit down, just resting on the sand. Don't know what he's doing. None of my pet stores have axolotls. I think it depends on where you live too, like which country you live. In Europe, you are mostly gonna have them, but I don't know for other countries. Yeah, Gary is thinking about the mysteries of the universe. Oh, thank you, Tyler Thomas Filler, for joining us today. We'll see you next time. So what are the names of the different variation of axolotls, like pink and black color? So pink, like Gary, are called leucistic. Black is either wild or melanoid. Brown is copper. Yellow is golden. You also have albino. It's like Gary, but they have pink eyes. What else? I think that's kind of all that, like the principal colors you can have. You can have a lot of different varieties of colors, but the principal are those ones. What are you doing, Gary? Gary just bonked on the glass. There are some blue ones, so I don't know what the blue ones, like what the morph is. Why axolotls are illegal in some countries? I don't really know the answer for that, but my guess is that the environment of the country is not suited for axolotls, and you know that there is always people who are not really responsible and gonna release their axolotls in the wild, and this can cause a change in the ecosystem, which is really bad. So never ever release any species you have as pet in the wild. Don't do that. Don't be that person. Yeah, it's that. It must would be considered as invasive. I feel like my water will be bad for your axolotl. Why that? If you test your water, then I think it would be okay. Can I sell my soul to Gary? No. Do axolotls grow their tail back? So axolotls are not like reptiles. They don't really lose their tail, but if there would be a part of their tail missing, they would regrow them. Do axolotls sleep with their eyes open? Yes, they do, because they don't have eyelids, so they can't really close their eyes. That's why you always have hides for axolotls so they can rest their little eyes. Are axolotls endangered? Yes, they are. Very endangered, yes, because they come only from one place in Mexico, and this place is really heavily polluted. What was that, Gary? Are you hungry? So yeah, you even if you have axolotls, you can't release them in the wild in Mexico because they will die because the lake is really polluted. People shouldn't put it, yeah, that's true, but you know how people are. Oh, Gary, can you stop moving so I can read all the people's comments? What color of axolotls is rare? So it's what we call I forgot the name. It's like they have a lot of different colors on the Gary. Are you hungry? Really? I fed you yesterday. I can't feed you every day or you're gonna like people are gonna say you're a chunk. You're already a chunk to be honest, so can't feed you too much. You'll have food tomorrow, Gary, okay? Can't feed you every day. Like there is the split axolotls who have like one side pink and one side black. Those ones are rare. But I know there is another morph that I forgot the name. It's where they have multiple colors on them. I think my floor is gonna give away because of how heavy the tank is. Yeah, you have to be careful of that. You have to know the weight of your tank plus the water plus the substrate plus the decoration to have the fitting stand for your aquarium. You have to think before buying everything. Gary is a happy boy, of course he is. Gary. Gary, no. Gary, why do you look like you are hungry like I never gave you food? Everybody can see that you're a chunky boy. You can't fool anyone. I am here. Gary is the king of cuteness, yes. Do you know a lot about snakes? No, I don't. I never had snakes before, so I don't know. How do you find out the gender of an axolotl? So it's a really interesting question because so every axolotls are like look female until one day we say they drop their balls, but it's not really their balls. It's like the bulge in an axolotl's bum, like Gary have. So this little bum can appear from like 8 months old to 18, so it's a really big range of months where you can't really know, you don't really know if the axolotl is going to be male or female in the end. You have to wait until 18 months if something appears. So I'm going to show you the little bump that Gary have so you can see what I'm talking about. Gary, what are you doing? Gary, I want you to be on your side so I can show people your bump. Gary's not cooperating. Gary, you're not really cooperating. Gary doesn't want to show his bump. Gary always demands food, like he's always hungry, but we all know, Gary, you are not underfed. You are maybe a bit overfed, so Did you name Gary after Gary from SpongeBob? No, not really. Even though we have a Gary the Snail in Gary's tank, we decided on Gary's name way before having Gary the Snail in the tank. Gary. Gary, I can't give you food. Stop it. Stop it, Gary. No food for you today. Tomorrow. Gary. Gary acting like he's starving. Like I don't give him food. Why are you doing that, Gary? Why are you pretending like you never got food? Yeah, Gary's jumping because he's a happy boy. He is like. Where are you going, Gary? I can't see your cute face. Up. Are you done pretending that I never give you food? Are you done, Gary? Where are you going now? Where are you going, Gary? Where do you get his food from? So for the worms we get it from actually an axolotl rescue. So it's our way to contribute to the rescue. And for the pellets we just get them from Amazon. What is that invisible thing around the tail? Is the fin you're talking about? Do axolotls like bubbles? So it depends on the axolotl. Oh, Gary, I'm sorry. Sometimes I just can't read and follow Gary. So, what was I saying? Wait, yeah. Do axolotls like bubbles? So it depends on your axolotls. I know that Gary does like his bubbles, but some other axolotls I know hate bubbles. So it really depends. Gary, why are you doing that to me? I can't respond to people and follow you. Okay, do not move too much, Gary. Please. Is his tail bent? Yes. So Gary is born like that. When we got Gary, his tail was already bent. So there's nothing we can do really. I think Gary is like an astronaut. Yeah, Gary was sleepy, but now he is Turbo Gary. Gary, really? Wait too lively now. You were asleep before, but now it's like over. So where are you from? So we live in the UK. Gary's dad is actually British, but I am French. Yeah, like how he bounces when he walks. It's really cute to watch. I have an axolotl and his name is Mr. Gills, which is really appropriate for an axolotl. Gary, are you resting on your ammonia test? Really? Okay. So where everybody is from, I see Poland, I see Spain, UK, Turkey. I saw Brazil earlier. India, Russian, the US. Oh, you don't live in India. Where are you from then? Where do you live? Oh, Malaysia.
Pet your dog. Pet your dog right now. He's a good boy. Good girl. Whichever. Pet him. Her.
Malaysia. America. Gary, you're too quick. You are too quick. I can't keep up with you. Thank you, Orange Comet, for joining us today. Do you have a cooler for Gary? Yes, we do have a chiller, a water chiller for Gary. So we are from the UK. We live in the UK. Brazil. What's that bit of glass in the sand in the tank? So it's Gary's little plate where we used to put food, but we prefer hand feeding Gary because we don't like when the food is sitting in the water. But Gary likes his little plate because he likes to chill on it. So that's why we just keep the little plate just for Gary to chill on it. It is Brazil. The flag, I guess. Oh, someone from Saudi. Don't know what Gary is doing now, but he's really lively. Gary, oh my god. Gary, too quick for me. You are too quick. Can I ask a question to Gary? Yes. Gary likes the boop. He really likes the boop. How many times a day do you feed him? So it's once every 2 days. Gary! You're too quick. I can't read the comment. Up, up. Yes. No. Thank you, and Capibo Bebe? Bibi? I don't know how to pronounce that.
Uncapable.
Incapable. Thank you for your. I can't speak anymore. Thank you so much for your donation. You call him chunky, so he's exercising now. That is true. I call him my chunky boy. If I got an axolotl, would he survive with my cats? No. How long have you had him for? 2 years and 4 months. Where would you get an axolotl? So I would recommend a breeder if you can join a Facebook group in your country, and they probably have a list of good breeders, so you can find one in your area. So I would advise you to do that instead of having them in a pet shop. Gary, you're so lively now. Gary. Yes, Gary. Yes. I know. You're hungry? How long do they live for? So up to 15 years. So Gary have many years ahead of him. Gary, why are you acting like I never give you food? Can you explain this to me? Please. Is Gary as his max size, or will he grow more? So he have his adult size now, so he won't grow more than this. He needs food. Gary always needs food. Gary could eat until he pukes, so we have to regulate his food. Isn't it, Gary? Mm-hmm. You're hungry? But you ate yesterday. I can't give you too much. I can't give you too much, Gary. No eating. Tomorrow you're gonna have food, okay? I know. He looks like he's so sad because he doesn't have food. Gary, no. Gary, no. Good. Yes, axolotl can actually throw up because they are too full. So that's what happened with Gary twice already, because I was like, what he's doing right now, I was like worried because I was like, oh no, he's hungry, so let's feed him. So I was giving him food every time he was acting like that, and Gary would he would always act like that, even if he's full. So he had too much food and he threw up, and it was really really bad. So now I don't do that anymore. I just regulate his food. Not every day, Gary. Once every 2 days. Most axolotls don't like to be pet. How did you socialize him? I don't really know because Gary is the first axolotl I have, so I think it's just me spending a lot of time with Gary when he was a baby already. Like I was talking to him every day since he was a baby, always around his tank all the time, so he was really used to having me around, like his mommy, so I guess that's how he maybe wasn't scared about me. I guess it's that. I can't find any other explanation. Please tell Gary I say hi. From last 4 days. Did Gary used to be scared of you, or was he always comfortable with your presence? I think like the first week we got Gary, he wasn't really like, he was a bit scared, I guess, but after that, seeing that we were taking good care of him, giving food and everything, he just grew more, I mean, friendly, I guess. So he was less scared, and seeing us that like we were always around him every day, he just get used to that, and he never was scared of us, really. Isn't it, Gary? Isn't it? You're the one who is scaring everyone. No, you're not. You're too cute for that. Does Gary have freckles? So yes, Gary have freckles. If you watch like really closely to his face, he have little freckles, but it's really really tiny, and you don't really see them like that. Maybe I'll do a really close-up shot one day, and I will put it in the community. Oh, thank you for joining us today. It's Doll's Life and More. Yeah, you can't really put like get your axolotl out of the water. It's not recommended at all. It would stress them. So never get your axolotls out of the water. They are meant to stay in the water all the time. No, Gary doesn't live in a 20-gallon tank. It's a 50-gallon tank. What size tank do they need? So I really, like, I want to say 50-gallon because it's how Gary lives and how you can see that he's really happy. But yeah, if you can afford it and if you have the space, I think 50-gallon is really good for an axolotl. He has space to walk and swim. But if you don't have the space, like our tank is 120 centimeters long. If you have like maybe 80, it should be okay, but I prefer like the more floor space you have and the better it is for your axolotl. I will always advise to have more floor space because it's where they live, so it should be a really happy environment for them. So too small, like you wouldn't want to live in a space like that. It's too small, so the bigger the better. Like if I had the space and if I could afford another tank bigger than this one, I would, but I can't right now. Does their bites hurt? No, they don't, because axolotls don't have teeth, so it doesn't hurt at all if they ever bite you. But do they tail curl when they are stressed? Yes, it's one of the things that happens if your axolotl is stressed. The physical signs that you should look for is stress, like if the tail is curled and if the gills are curled, it means that there is something wrong. So you should pay attention to that.
Nagito, the best way
To tell you the sand is to show you the sand. So, 1 second.
What? Oh no! No, it's in a tiny place.
Where is it?
What scent do you use? Oh, I want to get a subscribe, but I don't know which one is fine for them. So you want to search for sand that is fine and fine sand and safe, non-toxic. So what we have is a children play sand, which is safe for axolotls because it's non-toxic and it's really fine and smooth. But you really do need to rinse your sand really well. And when I say really well, I really mean it. It's like running your water for a long time.
we kind of opened it upside down, but the name's upside down. But yes, it's children's play sand.
Yeah, you can have children play sand because it's safe and it's non-toxic.
And now there's sand everywhere on the floor.
Oh, you put sand everywhere? What time is it there? Here is 7:36 p.m.
I'm going to have to vacuum this now.
Yeah. Oh, I can't stay for and have baseball practice. It's okay. Thank you for joining us today. It's 3:36 a.m. for you. Why are you not sleeping? Are axolotls hard to take care of? Yes. I always say yes because as someone who was new to aquatic pet, it was really hard for me to catch up with everything. Do not vacuum now, please.
I'm not going to vacuum now. I'm just getting you ready.
Okay. Sorry for the sand on the floor. Nagito said. It's okay, he's gonna vacuum after the stream. No, they should all be as chunky and happy as Gary. How many times do you have to feed them a day? So you don't feed your axolotl every day or they're gonna be...
Unless they're young.
Yeah, unless they are young. If they are babies or juveniles, it's twice a day. But an adult like Gary, it's 1 every 2 days is fine, even 3 times a week. It depends on your axolotls and what you feed them. You can feed them 3 to 4 times a week if they have worms. But as now Gary doesn't want his worms and he wants his pellets, we need to feed him more. So it's once every 2 days. Oh, thank you so much. How much did Gary cost? I think Gary cost 14 pounds. I think it was that 14
Something like
pounds.
that.
What happens? Water temperature change? What? I don't understand this question. But I think what you want to say is, how do we manage the water temperature when we do water change? So what we do is, when we remove the water from Gary's tank, it goes directly in the sink, so that there is no problem for that. But when we refill Gary's water, it's in a big tub that we fill with water, and we have infrared temperature device, so we know the temperature we want to aim to add it to Gary's tank, and then we put a dechlorinator, and then we put everything in Gary's tank. So having an infrared temperature device is really useful during water change, but other than that, it's not really useful. You should always have a real device that shows the temperature of the tank. Like for us, it's like in directly on the chiller, so we don't really need other device. But as I am a really stressed mom, and I always want to check everything for Gary, I have 2 other devices to check the temperature for Gary. This is how I am. You don't need to do that, but this is just how I am. So I have actually 3 devices in Gary's tank to show the temperature. Don't do that. It's just me being weird. How long do you have to leave the water before getting one in a video? It said only a few minutes. What? I don't understand this question. How long do you have to leave the water before getting one? I don't understand, I'm sorry. Thank you, the Carol, for showing up today. We'll see you maybe next Sunday. I love how flat his head is. I love it too. Sometimes I call him my little flathead because I find it so cute. Oh, my baby. Yeah, I know. My little flathead. How long do you have to leave the water before putting your axolotl in it? You don't really have to wait. Like when you know that your water is at the right temperature and is dechlorinated, it's fine. You can put it in there. Have you ever thought about buying another axolotl? So not buying, because I don't really want to buy another axolotl. I want to rescue one. So just getting an axolotl that didn't really had a good owner or good care, and just putting him back to shape and just giving him all the love we can. Gary, what are you doing now? I didn't sew. It's been 1 hour and 40 minutes. We are used to do 1 hour and 30 minutes live, but we did a bit more. I think it is time for us to say bye-bye. Isn't it, Gary? Yes? Gary is just staring at me like, Mom, what are you doing? I'm not doing anything, Gary. So I guess that is all for today's live. I hope you enjoyed it and you enjoyed watching Gary just waking up, because it's what he did. He just woke up and just work everywhere. Yeah, Gary. So, thank you for joining us today. We will see you next Sunday, and until then, stay cute. Bye bye.
Bye.